Some of the reasons you might want to move to Colorado. Every last one of these reasons are going to have to do with bettering your health. So in general, Colorado is a great place to live, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, let's start out with the climate. Since it's a dry, what they call a high desert, that is going to benefit a lot of people's health just because a lot of people's health concerns are related to mold issues. So when you live in a humid environment all the time, you're more susceptible to mold. Mold can thrive in your body, throughout the body. But if you live in a dry climate, you're not going to be as susceptible. You may take quite a bit of time to adapt to a drier climate, to where you get your diet in order, you get your gut health in order, you get these things taken care of so that you don't fall susceptible to completely dry, cracking skin every winter or all summer, which may have to do with increasing your fat intake, healthy fats, guys, and helping with your gut health, eliminating sugars, processed foods, toxins of that matter. So moving on. Also, Colorado, from my experience, is very into holistic and alternative health measures. You can find people here who have done the craziest of crazy health practices, that around the corner you can find tons of types of measures that you wouldn't be able to find in the Midwest, per se, where I was growing up. You'll find open-minded people who are out there willing to consider a lot of different things. You'll find open-minded medical doctors who are open to you finding holistic care. We found that in pediatricians that were surprisingly well-informed, etc. So, besides those things, there's definitely medical marijuana. So, if you look into documentaries on the history of cannabis, you will find out that a lot of them will refer to cannabis as the poor man's cure-all. Particularly if you look into the Rick Simpson story, which is a great documentary you can watch on YouTube. If you watch other ones, you may see these things quite consistently. And I know personally several different MMJ people who I've talked to on a consistent basis who talk about how well they have reversed numerous conditions with a type of Rick Simpson oil, etc. You don't have to smoke it, you don't have to eat it, you could just use the oils. And so the other thing is higher altitude. Living at higher altitude, this could be a plus or a minus. It just depends. Some people, it will help them build better blood. There's a reason why in Colorado Springs here, there is the Olympic Training Center for the United States. It is for that same reason. So, better blood could help with a lot of things. Oxygenation, low oxygen, may not be that beneficial, but there's ways to get around that. And like I was saying, as your body adapts, you will end up building better blood just necessarily. The outdoor life. Now, if you're a shut-in and you don't like going outside, then this is not going to help you at all. But in almost every single Colorado town I've ever heard of, there is either mountains or thousands of hiking options, hundreds of miles of hiking trails in Colorado Springs. I believe it's somewhere around 500 different hiking trails. There's acres and acres of open spaces that you can get outside and walk around. And speaking of the mountains, you can also, maybe you don't know this, but negative ions are actually produced in greater measures around places like waterfalls, beaches, and the mountains. So in this case, a negative is a positive, and positive ions we're constantly being bombarded with through the plastics, the fluorescent lighting, the fake lighting that we're constantly being exposed to. And the negative ions could really, really benefit you. One of the last things I think I'll talk about is going to be cold exposure. Since Colorado is known for its cold climate. For one thing, it keeps the criminal activity down because people don't even want to go out for thieving when it's freezing cold out. Not even for that are they willing to risk that. But here's the deal. Cold exposure is extremely beneficial for you. Maybe you've heard about all the cryotherapies that are popping up all over the place. There's even some here in Colorado. I personally messaged the business and been like, why would anybody need to pay for cold in Colorado ever? Because as it is, we have some of the coldest tap water. It comes out of the tap cold in the wintertime. In the summertime, it's still not all that warm. You could get some pretty decently cold water. And cold exposure can really increase blood flow. It can increase your immune health. It can increase thermogenesis, which can help you burn off unwanted calories, fat calories, etc. So I think that is going to be the short list. Maybe I'll continue with a follow-up at another point in time. But anyways, guys, stay healthy. Like, share, subscribe. Or don't.